Flights in and out of El Paso came to a sudden halt after the FAA shut down the airspace. More about the possible drones spotted coming up.
And have you heard of goat grazing? We'll show you where goats are helping prevent fires.
Annenberg TV News is next.
A protest inside a USC Village Target today brought shopping to a standstill. Hi, I'm Grace Song.
And I'm Kajal Reddy. Demonstrators marched into the Target store, calling on the company to take a public stand on immigration enforcement.
What do we want? ICE at Target! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? ICE at Target! When do we want it? Now!
Dozens of protesters gathered both inside and outside the Village Target, spreading their message with signs, banners, and their voices. The group's goal is to promote their ICE out message to the corporation. The group is calling for the immediate removal and defunding of ICE. It's a message they want to send to Congress and the White House. They're also asking that any federal officer who kills a civilian be held accountable.
ICE out means abolishing Immigrations and Customs Enforcement. We haven't needed them since they were formed in 2001, I believe, from what I remember. I think ICE out just means abolishing ICE, making sure they're not terrorizing our citizens.
I'm here as just a community person. I'm a community leader. I'm an advocate. I'm an activist. And when I see injustices, they just infuriate me. And I feel that I had the call to come out and raise people's voices that feel that they don't have a voice.
In a statement, Target CEO said, quote, "The violence and loss of life in our community is incredibly painful. We are doing everything we can to manage what's in our control, always keeping the safety of our team and guests our top priority." There have been similar protests around the country asking the Minnesota-based retailer to take stronger action against ICE. An update now on a story we've been following. 2028 LA Olympic Committee Chairman Casey Wasserman will get to keep his job despite his name appearing in the Epstein files. In a statement, the LA 28 Board of Directors said, quote, "We found Mr. Wasserman's relationship with Epstein and Maxwell did not go beyond what has already been publicly documented." Wasserman has been involved with USC, appearing as a featured speaker at last year's Next Level Sports Conference. USC professor and Fox Radio Sports host Rob Parker says he was not surprised by the LA 28 decision.
If that's all there is for him, it's not really that bad to where you could say, probably would he have liked to take some of those emails back or not be involved at all? Yes. But I don't think they were as damaging as some other people are in the Epstein files. They'd have to find somebody in a hurry, you know what I mean? And I think that would have been a challenge. And I think that's probably part of why they stuck with him. It wasn't that damaging, and there's somebody who's in place who has a huge responsibility, and he's already got the motor started, so they wanted to stay with him. So it makes sense to me.
In a statement, Wasserman said, quote, "I deeply regret my correspondence with Ghislaine Maxwell, which took place over 2 decades ago. Long before her horrific crimes came to light, I never had a personal or business relationship with Jeffrey Epstein." Despite the board's support, some members of the LA City Council and Board of Supervisors have called for Wasserman to resign.
Wallace Annenberg Hall was filled today for a forum on strategic storytelling in the age of AI. It was hosted by Dean Willow Bay with Bonnie McCracken from Microsoft. McCracken is General Manager of Innovation and Strategy Communications at Microsoft. She shared how USC students can utilize AI tools to enhance their performance and creativity in the workplace.
This is just another tool that communicators can use. So if you're thinking about getting into the workforce and you're building out your resume and CV, a lot of it is like, how do you say, I can use AI to help ideate on ideas, or it builds your skill set where, I might not be an artist, but I can go create storyboards now because I'm able to use AI, or I need to go get quick information but then how do I apply insights to that? So I think for communicators coming into the world, it gives you just tools at a faster rate that you can tap into and play with and see what you can make with it.
During the forum, McCracken talked about vibe coding, AI tools to help people make products without coding experience. She advised that students need to target their audience first before vibe coding a product.
AI is actually a tool and not something that is intended to be used to take shortcuts. I found that to be very interesting because I've always thought of AI as like just something that kind of does the work for you instead of aids you in the process of doing the work.
Studying digital media now, I feel like AI and machine learning is kind of a bridge between the two. And I really liked how, Bonnie really focused on, she talked about the sustainability side and like their initiatives and making sure they're kind of replenishing resources that they're taking away like from certain communities. And I don't think a lot of tech companies are really doing that.
McCracken also encouraged PR and advertising students to use AI storytelling tools in class to turn ideas into products.
The airspace over El Paso is now reopened, but last night the FAA announced the airport would be shut down for 10 days. Hours later, the agency reversed itself. The Trump administration blamed the brief closure on a Mexican drug cartel drone that had entered the U.S. airspace. In a post on X, Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy said the threat had been neutralized and there is no longer a danger. El Paso's mayor is criticizing the decision.
This unnecessary decision has caused chaos and confusion in the El Paso community. I want to be very, very clear that this should have never happened. These types of decisions have consequences.
It requires drone operators to register their aircraft. They are not to fly within 5 miles of an airport without a permit. Violators can be fined up to $250,000 and face possible prison time. A USC aviation expert says the closure could have lasting impacts.
If airspace is closed for a period of 6 or 8 or 10 hours, that is a huge closure of airspace and causes ripples throughout the system, causes flights to be closed, airplanes not to be dispatched. It is an unprecedented demonstration of incompetence.
Many questions remain unanswered as normal flights to and from El Paso resume. Passengers affected by the closure are entitled to full compensation.
USC's undergraduate student government held its debate last night, 3 teams vying for the presidency. However, the decision shifted into accusations of election code violations.
Unfortunately, as the campaign has progressed, their ticket has raised serious concerns regarding compliance with the USC Elections Code and Code of Ethics. To be fully transparent, Jeremiah has filed a formal complaint with the Judicial Council, supported by evidence, alleging at least 7 violations of the USC Elections Code.
We have not received any complaints or anything directly from the Judicial Council themselves, and we've never heard or gotten any legal file from them.
Candidates Kim and Ramon later admitted to 1 campaign sign violation, but said they were unaware of the rule. In an email to ATVN VP candidate Boaz Round wrote that he and Kalani have filed a complaint with the USG Judicial Council. The council said it's reviewing the issue and asked those involved not to comment publicly while a decision is pending. Again, here are the 3 sets of pairs running for president and vice president. The polls officially open next Tuesday at 10 a.m. For upcoming grads, it is good to be aware of the price of your cap and gown. Reporter Caminero has more from GradFest.
I'm standing outside the Ronald Tudor Campus Center, where earlier today in the basement, students got to participate in GradFest. At that event, there were different photo booths where students could take graduation pictures, learn about their graduation packages, and discover those graduation package prices. For our friends across the street at UCLA, their graduation gown for bachelor students starts at about $50. The price for USC students for the exact same deal, $229. We are actually here with someone who attended the event. Can you tell us what was it like seeing those prices, and are you someone who's going to get a graduation package?
I think it's the price is kind of ridiculous. With everything together, gown and cap and sash, it's over $400 for a master degree, and I would say that's a lot. Yeah, just really pricey.
Now, how does this compare to where you did your undergrad at, price-wise?
Okay, so for my undergrads, the total is around $220, and then they also give us the sash for your nationality for free. So I would say that's definitely a plus.
Definitely a big change from what USC is doing for sure. Thank you very much for your time. So for students who are looking to graduate and want something very special for that special day, keep in mind the price of that graduation package. For Edinburgh Media, I'm Malcolm Caminero.
USC professors come together to talk about their loss following last year's wildfires. More on their podcast coming up.
A gray wolf unseen in California for over a century has been spotted, marking a historic return.
And later, Johnny Beck is here to spark a pizza debate, deep dish or thin crust. His un-American take is ahead. Grazing goats in Glendale are back. The four-legged firefighters are taking part in the city's year-round wildfire mitigation strategy. This is the third year that Glendale has brought back the goats ahead of wildfire season. The goal? Reducing the risk by having the goats remove vegetation. Ultimately, the goats help create a barrier and slow fire progression. Today, over 400 goats were removing 20 acres of dried bush along Verdugo Park.
Goats are well suited for steep, rocky, hard to reach areas that can be dangerous for humans to get into. And they're very effective, reducing the fine fuels. Plus, the community loves the goats, obviously, and it kind of brings the fire department and the community together.
Goats, often supplied by contractors like California Grazing, are used because they can handle steep terrain and consume thick, dry vegetation. They're a sustainable alternative to mechanical brush clearing.
They're great at reducing the flashy fuels and receptive fuel beds, and so the goats are here to do that. They're going to de-leaf. It can get up to 9 feet, where like one goat will grab it, the branch, pull it down, and the next goat will grab that same branch, pull it down, and they'll strip the leaves off it. They'll eat the understory, and so it'd be hard for fire to carry and get started here.
The city anticipates the arrival of more herds later this summer to stay ahead of any rapid growing fuels.
USC's Electric Futures podcast debuted a new season. It highlights the experiences of 5 professors who lost their homes during the Los Angeles fires last year. Last year, the LA wildfires destroyed over 16,000 structures in Altadena and the Palisades. The USC Annenberg Center for Climate Journalism and Communication interviewed the impacted professors over the course of 9 months. The project served as a safe space for them to share their stories and be heard in a safe community.
So you could hear their voice, you could hear the emotion, you could hear the fear, the anxiety, the sadness, everything that they felt, because it's more than just losing, 15,000 buildings or 29 lives. It's, everyday people being impacted, and, they deserve to be heard in the way that they would like to be heard.
The recovery from the 2025 wildfire season continues, but it looks like we're getting some rain in the future. Last night, California did get some rain, Kajal, right?
I know, I had my main character moment with that rain. What do you say, Ian?
Yeah, it sure looks like there'll be no wildfires this month. Well, if you woke up early this morning, you may have noticed a slippery commute to campus, and you may have felt a couple drops on your head. Overnight, we saw a fast-moving winter storm drop just under an inch of rain to the downtown area. Good evening, Trojans. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to a special edition of Meteorology with Makayla. Right now, it's a beautiful night, 60 degrees, a beautiful crisp SoCal night, drying off from the rain earlier today. Diving into the 5-day forecast, we see a gradual warm-up, peaking Friday with a high of 72. There's going to be some clouds in the air on Saturday, but you know what else is in the air? Love is in the air, because it's Valentine's Day. And man, what a lovely day to celebrate the occasion with a high of 70 and a low of 50. Sunday, we start cooling down again with a high of 66, and looking ahead to Monday and the rest of next week, we're predicted to see the coldest storm of the season, with another atmospheric river coming into the area, with rain expected Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, lowering those temperatures with snow predicted in our mountain communities and even a small chance of thunderstorms. Also, don't forget, Monday is President's Day, so enjoy the day off. Although you won't be crossing the Delaware, be careful if you're crossing over the freeway. It's going to be wet out there. Have a great rest of your day and week, Trojans. That was Meteorology with Makayla. Checking weather on the daily. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you, Ian, for sharing the important updates. For the first time in a century, a gray wolf was spotted in Los Angeles County. A 3-year-old female gray wolf known as Bayo 3F entered LA County around 7 a.m. on February 7th. Wildlife experts believe she left her pack in search of a mate, causing her to move south into Los Angeles. Born in Plumas County in 2023 in the Bay MCO, she was fitted with a GPS collar in May 2023 while traveling through Tulare County. She was then spotted in Kern County by the California Department of Fish and Wildlife.
Wolves are an important part of ecosystems, and it's lovely to see that the population is growing. And California, as I understand it, I believe the policy is to allow wolves to, establish themselves here.
Our goal is for wolves to be in their natural and native habitats. Right now, there's only about 70 wolves in California, so it's not a bizarrely high number that you're trying to navigate around.
It's possible the female wolf will continue to travel long distances in search of her mate and may come across him very soon.
Thanks, Grace. Men's volleyball looks to get revenge on the team that ended their undefeated streak last year in a home-and-home series this week. The latest matchup of one of the greatest rivalries in sports culminates in dominance at this year's Winter Olympics. And Sam Darnold made history for USC in this year's Super Bowl, but here's the real origin story behind USC quarterbacks in the big game coming up next on ATVN.
USG election season has kicked off.
They have a huge game on Thursday, right?
Huge.
Prior to that, he couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat.
And a warning tonight about a massive storm heading our way.
We're live here at the Galen Center.
What would y'all do if you had $2.5 million?
Music, art, and women empowerment.
And she put her stamp on Big Ten history.
Those are men swimming like fish.
Thanks for watching.
Annenberg TV News, you never miss an episode.
Don't forget to subscribe.
Thanks for watching.
So, live from the Halo is USC Annenberg's take on NPR's Tiny Desk concerts. This is like a platform for USC students and adjunct students just to perform and play their music for an audience.
Welcome back to ATVN Sports. I'm Makena Arteaga.
And I'm Ashton Griffith. After winning the past 3 games behind strong performances from freshman guard Elijah Arenas, the Trojans men's basketball team are in a tight game against Ohio State that is going down to the wire. For Ohio State, Devin Royal leads all scorers for the Buckeyes with 19 points, John Mobley Jr. with 13, and for USC, freshman guard Elijah Arenas with 21 points and Cam Woods with 14. USC got into some foul trouble with a key piece in its front court fouling out in Ezra Azar. Following the game, the Trojans will come home to Galen Center to face Illinois next Wednesday.
Tonight, number 4 USC men's volleyball heads down the 5 freeway to take on number 5 UC Irvine just ahead at 6 p.m. The Trojans remain undefeated after a dominant sweep over UC Santa Barbara and a pair of 5-set thrillers against Ohio State and CSUN. Leading the Trojans for the 4th year in a row is senior outside hitter Dylan Klein. Klein's offense has been absolutely undeniable. The powerhouse hitter has led the Trojans in kills through every match this season and reached his 68th career match with double-digit kills in that win against UC Santa Barbara. But the Trojans' dominance isn't just their hitting prowess. At the net for the Trojans stands 6'11" Wesley Smith, whose impact has been immediate. Smith returned this season after being out with injury all last year. This week, the middle blocker was named MPSF Moulton Defensive Player of the Week after putting up 11 combined blocks in last week's matches. Smith ranks 3rd in the MPSF for both blocks with 1.27 blocks per set and a hitting percentage over 500.
Yeah, I mean, we're diligent about watching film. We're going in a few days beforehand and scouting their hitters, their setters, everything. So we'll continue doing that moving forward, and yeah.
The Trojans are a perfect 7-0 to start the season. They're hitting .369 as a team. What's been working so well for them?
Yeah, I think you got into it earlier. Dylan Klein and that massive wall of Wesley Smith getting to the net quick and early.
Absolutely. It's hard when you have someone who's almost 7 feet tall, especially with the return of Parker Tompkinson, someone who is 7 feet tall and is the tallest USC men's volleyball player in school history. When you have them two at the net, it's undeniable. Well, after tonight's winner is decided in Irvine and the losing team drops their perfect record, the Trojans and Anteaters will rematch Friday at the Galen Center. And you know, the Olympics are in full swing over in Milan, and the USA women's hockey team took a monumental 5-0 win over Canada in the final preliminary round. The blowout win handed Canada its first ever shutout loss across all its 41 Olympic contests. The win marked Team USA's 3rd straight shutout, and perhaps more impressively, the U.S. has not conceded a goal in its last 211 and 23 seconds of play. 24-year-old forward Hannah Bilka scored 2 goals to help lift her team to victory. In the American-Canadian rivalry, the U.S. now outscores Canada overall with 138 to 135 wins, with Canada having the slight all-time edge in wins 25 to 24. Besides the U.S. and Canada, no other country has won Olympic or World Championship gold in women's hockey. Team USA moves on to face home team Italy in the quarterfinal round on Friday.
Seattle Seahawks quarterback Sam Darnold made history as the first USC quarterback to both start and win a Super Bowl. But before Darnold, there was Willie Wood, who made history at a different position in the big game 60 years ago. In 1957, Willie Wood was the first black quarterback of the then-named Pacific Coast Conference. Despite being a standout quarterback, Wood went undrafted and had no choice but to write to NFL head coaches for a tryout, where he was only focused on one goal.
I started off in Green Bay with just one thing in mind, that is to making the Green Bay Packers football team, and ladies and gentlemen, that's all I had in mind. That was it for me.
I was a quarterback at Southern Cal, and there were a lot of people who didn't think perhaps maybe I should have been.
After head coach Vince Lombardi responded, Wood was signed to Green Bay as a free safety. Wood would catch the game-sealing interception in the NFL's first ever Super Bowl and became the 5th USC Trojan to be inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Although Darnold made history Sunday, Willie Wood made his impact for the Trojans on both sides of the field.
What an inspiring story, truly the model of perseverance. Well, until the stats reset or the score changes for ATVN Sports, I'm Makena Arteaga.
And I'm Ashton Griffith. Let's send it over to Kajal.
Thank you, Ashton and McKenna. Johnny Beck will tell you all about his favorite slices coming up. It's the yeast he can do.
When it comes to pizza, some like it thin and crispy and others like it layered. Johnny Beck has a take on Chicago's classic.
Thank you, Grace. Now, I like Chicago. Italian beef sandwiches, CM Punk, the Bulls, Al Capone. But when it comes to the so-called deep dish pizza, that's where I start raising eyebrows. Chicago deep dish isn't your normal slice that you all know. It is baked in a deep pan with a thick bread crust, a layer of cheese at the bottom, Italian sausage inside with the sauce being on the top. It was created in the 1940s and became a Chicago staple. I've eaten pizza my whole life. I've been to Italy, the birthplace of pizza, where pizza is thin, simple, with cheese on top of the sauce. I always thought pineapple on pizza is weird, but this takes the cake, where this one is eaten with a knife and fork and looks like it needs a building permit.
You know, it's an experience, right? You get your good versions and your bad versions. New York has some beautiful artisan pizza. They also have some of the most reheated, crappy cheese dollar store slices you can imagine. Just like here, Chicago has some deep dish that you could eat and immediately forget it. But it also has some people making just like really wonderful pizzas. The really good deep dish is good because it can't really rest on any one of those three things. You can't have just good crust or just good sauce or just high quality cheese. The quantity is such between all of them that if anything's lacking, you're going to notice it.
That's it for this week's The Un-American. Maybe deep dish isn't wrong. Maybe it's just America doing what America loves, making everything bigger and more dramatic. Back to you, ladies.
Thank you, Johnny Beck. Honestly, I think the Chicago deep dish pizza is a win for me.
Can't eat it in front of Johnny Beck, though.
Thanks for watching Annenberg TV News. From everyone at Annenberg Media, I'm Grace Song.
And I'm Kajal Reddy. For more coverage, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. We'll see you next time. Good night.